There's a part of your body that can breathe for you while you're asleep, but it's not your lungs. I'm going to tell you where this magical breathing superpower comes from today, and it might just be one of the coolest animal adaptations on the planet. Like most animals, turtles need oxygen to live. And like most other animals, turtles get that oxygen by breathing. Unlike most other animals, turtles don't have openings on the sides of their bodies for breathing. They have openings at their rear ends. In the cloacal area, the opening at the rear of the body, turtles have tissues rich in blood vessels. During the winter, when turtles hibernate, some do so underwater in ponds. Others spend the season beneath ice, covering the surface of lakes or rivers. These turtles can't easily surface to breathe with their lungs, which makes it seem like they should drown. But they don't. Instead, they absorb oxygen directly from the water through the blood vessels in their cloacae. It's a process called cloacal respiration. So instead of taking in air, turtles take in water, specifically oxygen-rich water. When the water passes through the blood vessels in their cloacae, oxygen diffuses into the turtle's bloodstream, and carbon dioxide diffuses out of their bloodstream and into the water. The turtles' bodies move the water along these blood vessels through a combination of muscle contractions and pressure changes. Muscles in the walls of blood vessels and the cloaca itself contract, squeezing the blood vessels and pushing the water along. The muscles work in an alternating pattern so that there's always fresh blood waiting to grab more oxygen around the corner. Meanwhile, pressure changes draw water in through the cloaca and push it out through the body. That drawing in of water increases the pressure in the turtle's body cavity and forces water out through the cloaca. Then the pressure drops in the body cavity and the cycle starts over again. These cycles of contraction and relaxation move the water along, but it takes energy to get those cycles going. Normally, that energy comes from the food the turtle has eaten. But when the turtle is hibernating, it isn't eating. So its body uses chemical energy stored in its muscles to fuel the process. It takes a lot of energy to keep this system going, especially in cold water. The temperature affects how fast the molecules move, and the warmer the temperature, the faster the molecules move. Because of this, the rate of diffusion is faster in warmer water. That means that if you're a turtle trying to take in oxygen from the water around you, warmer water is better. When water gets colder, the movement of molecules slows down, so it becomes harder for turtles to get the oxygen they need. To solve this problem, turtles have evolved to supercharge their cloacal respiration during the winter. They redirect blood from their brains and other organs to their cloaca, which boosts the amount of oxygen they can absorb. But wait, there's more. Turtles also have special proteins in their blood that grab onto oxygen molecules and help shuttle them around the body. And these proteins have a superpower. They're optimized to work well in cold temperatures. Not only do turtles have special proteins for cold water, but they've also increased the amount of red blood cells. All that oxygen-grabbing power helps turtles get through months in cold water without coming up for air. And while we're talking about turtles doing things out of their butts, I should mention that they also poop out of their butts, even though their digestive systems are kind of weird. But that's a story for another video. Now, this adaptation doesn't just allow turtles to survive in cold water, it also lets them hibernate in places that aren't covered in ice. During normal times, it's easier for turtles to get enough oxygen from the air than from water. So turtles that live on land typically don't use cloacal respiration. But when there's a hard freeze on the surface of a lake or pond, turtles that live in or near that water may enter the water and hibernate underwater during the winter. Turtles that usually live on land, however, have to make sure they don't dry out, so they don't have an easy way to get oxygen when they're underwater. To solve this problem, they gulp down air before they go under, storing it in their swim bladders, which are sacs near their spines. The turtles can exchange gases between their swim bladder and their blood, taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. Once the water temperature rises above freezing and ice leaves the surface, these turtles come back up to breathe with their lungs. Hibernating underwater can be risky because sometimes there isn't enough oxygen in the water to keep the turtles alive. But the turtles that use the swim bladder strategy can avoid that risk by making frequent trips to the surface to top off their oxygen supply. For turtles that stay on land during the winter, the risk is the opposite. Without snow or ice to insulate them from the cold air, their bodies can freeze. Hibernating turtles conserve energy by lowering their metabolic rates, but that lowers their body temperatures too close to freezing. To stop their body temperature from dropping too far, turtles huddle together in groups. As a group, they can maintain a higher average body temperature than they could if they were on their own. All of these adaptations come together to allow turtles to survive the winter, wherever they happen to be. Even though these strategies look very different, the goal is the same: for turtles to get the oxygen they need while they sleep. So yeah, even though we often think of breathing as something we do with our lungs, for turtles, the story is written elsewhere. Their butts are amazing. Until next time, see you.